We talked to Carly Craig about competing locally.
And it was basically because of fear.
But what really holds most people back in this world?
An absolute nervous wreck. I wouldn't get to the start line a lot of the time.
And the answer is...
I never wanted to feel like that again, and this belief coding came along.
the one you didn't choose.
You know, we were so worried about what people thought of me.
So what belief is running you?
Hello, humans. Welcome to the M-Word podcast, brought to you by Martin. That's me.
I'm Matt.
That's him. Hi, Matt.
Martin.
Carly.
Matt. Martin.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I suppose there's two main areas we want to talk about: sport and the belief code.
Yeah.
But maybe to preface all that, a question to start with is if you all could describe yourself today or describe yourself 2 years ago, having obviously had a bit of a conversation off the air previously, how would you describe, let's call it old Carly and new Carly, or evolving Carly, just to then set the scene of this, let's call it a bit of transformation, if that's the right word, that you're going through. So maybe describe what the older Carly's like and the work you're doing and what Carly is now.
Yeah. So, should I go back to...
No, we'll go into why that transition,
okay,
to talk about that.
Just
the change
now.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I suppose I was a warrior, much more of a warrior, nervous. In terms of racing, I was, it wasn't just race nerves, there was more to it, and I knew there was more to it. It wasn't just about being nervous for a race, it was all the worry and anxiety that came with it as well. Whereas I would see other people around me on the start line and they were like looking forward to it, excited, the lead up to it. I wasn't like that. I was the amount of races that I've entered, I didn't go. And I've completely changed that. So my last race was the Island Games, and I stood on that start line for the first time in my life at a race, and I was completely calm. Never felt like that in my life. And it is because of all the work I've been doing on myself. I knew and I was stood in the Island Games, and I had race nerves, which people are like, oh, you don't want to get rid of your race nerves because that's your adrenaline, that's what you need for a race. But I did have that, but I didn't have all the worrying, the months, the weeks, and on the night before, didn't have that anymore. And I was actually really excited, really looking forward to it. I stood on that start line, a completely different person, and I could see people flapping around me. And I was just thinking, God, that's what I used to be like. So in terms of my racing, that's how much I've changed with the belief coding, which has been amazing.
And like I say, we'll dig into that. Can I ask then, is that something that in outside of sport as well, that's helped in just whether it's work, whether it's your kids, family, whatever?
Yeah, well, I've cleared like my fear of judgment, people pleasing. I used to people please. I used to all that judgment gone now. Actually don't give a shit anymore, which has been amazing. That's another thing that's cleared, and that has been really, really good for me, because I just do what I want to do now without worrying what people are going to think. I'm just going for it. I'm just doing it. So that's all cleared, which has been amazing.
And obviously, it'd be great a bit later on to unpick some of them, maybe the backstories to them without where you wish to. But is that the age you're at now? Is that something you wish you could have unpicked earlier?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, I've got clients coming to me in their 20s, early 20s, and I'm just saying, oh, well done for coming. You're 25 and you're going to clear that now. Like, I have had that for 40 odd years, And I so wish that I knew about it now. And I'm just like saying well done to them coming forward to heal now at 25, which is incredible.
What prompted you to, what moment, was there a moment where you saw something and thought, oh, that could, this belief code might work for me? Was there sounds like you're on a journey. Was there a point where it was like...
For the belief coding?
Yeah.
I've been interested in mental health healing for the last 15 years, to be honest with you. And I always say to people, you don't really go to healing modalities unless you need some help. Like my husband is like so chilled out, he doesn't need to, he's fine. But I think people are always led to do healing for a reason. Like maybe they've got anxiety, maybe they've had a trauma. We only go on this journey really to be healed. So I have got a story, which we'll probably go into that later. And that led me to being really fascinated with meditation and anything that any mental health kind of healing I love. Like EFT I've done like the mindfulness with Mike Cooley and his dad Michael. So I've always been drawn to it, or like if I see it on socials, I'm always like listening. I love it. I absolutely love it. And then a friend of mine was doing the belief coding, and I saw her journey and how she completely transformed. She was in a really, really dark place, and she's absolutely living her best life now. And I was just like, I want a piece of that. And I think that for me, this one has been the best for me. And it just depends what you're drawn to. It might not be for everyone, but it was for me. And I always say to people, just try what you're drawn to. Like that's the thing. It's if you're interested in it, just go to it and give it a go, because and then it might not be for you, and that's absolutely fine. It's not personal. You just go to another thing that you're interested in, because everyone's different, and some things that some people like, the others don't. So
not that we need people to stay tuned, because I'm sure you will, but as an observer, I don't know you too well, kind of passing in sport and seeing each other, but I think we might touch base, I think, when you first got into cycling and you come along the cycle club, and I got the vibration of shyness and the things you described earlier. And when I saw you online, I said this to you a few weeks ago on a video, it was like a different person. And I just observed how, I wouldn't say you were unhappy then, but how happy you were. So I'm really interested later on when we talk about it, is that it's obviously amazing to see happy people. So I can't wait to talk about that aspect of that journey for you. So I just wanted to say that. So let's start with sport. Let's start with your background, because I believe you quite obviously mentioned there before about the Island Games this year, but you've got sport and pedigree, I think it's fair to say. I don't know a lot about it. So tell us about sport as a younger person and athletic endeavours, etc.
So I went to St Mary's Primary School, grew up in there, and I had a teacher there, Gordon Vale. I don't know if you know him, but he was an amazing race walker in his day, an athlete, runner. He asked me to go to Boundary Harriers. Back then, before they were Manx Harriers, it was Boundary Harriers, Manx AC, they merged. So I was Boundary Harriers. And there was just a few of us that he used to take on a running club at school. And he said, he took a few out and was like, you've got talent, go to this club and I'm going to train you as well. So he trained us from the age of 10 up until my Island Games when I was 22. He just he was an amazing man, absolutely amazing man. And he saw some talent in a few kids and he just took them and he trained them to be athletes. So there's a group of us. He was absolutely incredible. And so he got me into running. And then I just love sport. I loved it. I mean, I didn't have a really sporty family. My brothers played football. Mum and dad weren't sporty, but I couldn't wait for games lessons. I couldn't wait for PE lessons. I lived for them. Every club after school, volleyball, netball, hockey, anything to do with sport, I was in that club every single night, every lunchtime. Just loved sport. And then just was always a runner, really played hockey as well. Loved hockey, did hockey for the island and did Northwest England when I was young. And just loved hockey and running, really, were my main two sports. So did that up until high school. And then was doing the cross country, and I used to compete for like English schools, and I compete for Merseyside cross country, for the inter schools. And yeah, so that was my running career. But then we, when I got to the Island Games, was when I was my first Island Games, when it was in the Isle of Man, and I did 5,000 meters.
Okay, so that was on the track. You were middle long distance.
Yeah,
based on the cross country.
Yeah, middle distance. So I did the 5,000 on the track. It was the most amazing experience because we were in the Isle of Man. The whole stadium was just shouting, Carly, Carly. And it was absolutely incredible. And got a silver medal. So I was really chuffed. And Jackie Ashman, who was one of the Isle of Man as well, she got gold. So we got gold, silver. So it was an absolutely incredible day. Really amazing. But my fear really was coming from there.
Okay.
Like, I remember Gordon Vale getting me to lie down on the track, trying to calm me down. The night before, I was being sick. I remember being an absolute wreck. And after it, I said, I'm never doing Island Games again.
I was going to say, was that fear there? Was that Island Games tipping point? Because I was going to say, did you still have that while you were growing up? Was it kind of an innate thing there, even as a child doing those early races? That was there, or was that just the culmination when you went to the games that kind of hit you in that moment?
No, it's hard to think back how I was as a child, really. I do struggle a little bit, but I'm sure there was nerves there. Yeah, I think, I do remember being pretty nervous, but I think I remember more the Island Games. And I remember that was it. I was like, I'm never putting myself through that again. And it was just all fear, and I got a silver medal. Like, I could have gone on and got, and trained hard and did more games, and I didn't because I was scared, because I'd never wanted to feel like that again. And I just stopped after that. I did, and then I got married and had kids, and the rest is history anyway. But so it was just, that's how. And then I've been asked the last 2 Island Games for triathlon, and I've said no. And then this time, because I've done all the work, I was like, yeah, I can do this. So
it's quite interesting that obviously it's part of the psychology, isn't it? That appreciating the nerves before the Island Games back when you were 20, 21, did you say?
Yeah.
But obviously the result is mental. To then, obviously there's many ways you could argue go out on a high, but you've stopped because of the crap feeling, I guess, before it, isn't it? But the result was good. That didn't outweigh that side of it.
No,
and did you at that time then, were there any discussions over that wellness, that trying to find an answer? Like we talked about earlier, someone wished you would have at 20, your young 20s, been able to have found belief coding or whatever may have worked for you. There wasn't anything around at that time, push or anything that.
I suppose, I didn't know. I didn't really know anything about it then, and the reason, which we'll probably go into, the reason why I found this because I had a really, really horrible dark time, and that's when I got into it. So I wasn't probably looking for it then, I suppose. Yeah.
I guess coaches around you is just, like you say, lie on the track, trying to just find methods to, because I guess we all get nervous to different degrees at big events, especially at that event, at that moment in your life, in the sporting career. It's the pinnacle at that moment, isn't it? So you've got every reason to be
and I suppose it's a lot more, talked about now. So there's a lot more things. There's loads of things you can go to now. Like anyone, if you asked anyone, I bet they know different healing techniques and modalities just from hearing it. Whereas we never spoke about it 20 years ago. Really. Breath work, everyone knows what breath work is because of Wim Hof or whatever, so it's just talked about more now.
And during up to that Island Games, then were you competing for the island at, in the UK in national events? And
I used to go away, do the cross country a lot,
right.
And then I did, I ran for Merseyside, got in their squad.
And when you got more serious, let's say, the running, did the other sports then drop away?
I played hockey. I played hockey up until having the children, and I've gone back and played a little bit with them as well. Now they're playing, but I used to love my hockey. So sport takes a bit of a back burner, I guess partly because of the experience at the Island Games.
let's say the negative side of the experience, not the good side of winning a medal. You obviously then have a family.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose this transitions into, you mentioned there about dark times. Is that in your journey of like personal life, you then, I guess you're conscious, you're worried, you know, there's things that you're seeing within yourself that you feel you need to work on, and that's when you obviously start, I guess, exploring different things to find that thing that fits. Because everyone, like you say, everyone's different, and those fixes, if that's the right term, things that work are very different. So did you try other things before you got to where you were, or?
No, I mean, I'm completely open about talking about it because I've cleared my fear of judgment. But yeah, so had the kids, they were only little, you know, about, some was like 5 and Isabella was 7, and working, and it was hard work, you know, with them little, and I just used to worry about everything. I used to worry about everyone, myself. I used to worry about, you know, everything, finances, the kids. I was just worried about everything. And my mum's a worrier as well. And I do wonder if it's passed down, the DNA, this, you know.
It might be the nature-nurture thing if you're in that environment.
Yeah, or it could be past experiences of what I've experienced as growing up, having like, you know, whatever. But I just worried basically about everything. And it got to a point, I'm a really, really happy, positive person. And I think I've always been like that, even as a kid. I've been a happy kid, positive. And then I just started feeling really, really sad. And it wasn't right. I was like, why am I feeling sad? And then it got worse. I just kept feeling really down, really sad. So I went to the doctor and I said, I don't feel right. This isn't right. I wasn't like excited about anything. It was normal. It was a weird feeling. And he said, we'll prescribe you some drugs. It sounds like you're depressed. And I was like, I'm not depressed. I'm such a happy, positive person. But what happened, I just was worrying so much. Then I wouldn't take the tablet because I was worried about them. I got myself worrying about so much. I spiraled and I had a nervous breakdown. And it was the most horrendous experience ever. I always say I would give birth 10 times over than have a nervous breakdown because it was horrendous. I was on the couch. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I lost my thoughts, and I couldn't go to my daughter's 5th birthday party. It was that bad. I couldn't leave the house. And when I did go in the house, I had the most horrendous anxiety if I went out the house, like off the scale anxiety. I went to meet a friend for coffee, I remember, and had to leave. I just lost my mind. It was horrendous. And I just had no help.
How long did that last, that?
So it lasts until you start doing the work. And it was about 3 months.
Oh, wow.
I lost so much weight. I was in a mess. And I went to see someone and they said, go to see Michael Cooley, Mike's dad that used to come over, just as brilliant as Mike Cooley. And he's doing a course at the college, mindfulness. So I was like, how can I go into a college full of people when my anxiety is through the roof? But I thought, she was like shouting at me, this woman saying, if you don't go, you're going to be like this forever. And I'm like, okay. So I went to Monday, and then I think my brother came with me. I dragged him with me. And then I ended up going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then he did a retreat on Saturday. I went to that. He did another retreat on Sunday. I went to that. I was like, when are you coming back? I absolutely loved it. And I remember thinking, why has nobody taught me this in school? Why has nobody taught me these things? And it was just simple, like life skills, like the way we think, and all about worrying and about fear of death. There was like so many courses about love and kindness. There was so many every day with a different topic, and it was incredible. And it just made so much sense to me. So I went down the mindfulness route, and it completely changed the way my outlook on life completely changed it.
I was going to say, during that course, though, did you have like, how do I say, like a eureka, like a moment there where you say that to go from such lows in that sense, just to go to this session and don't mean that in any like term, to have that moment where it was like, what resonated with you there? What changed that suddenly from that, those traits, that personality you show, into what obviously came out after a few days? Was there anything that's specific there that you remember that was suddenly a hang on, that I can feel myself becoming me again?
Yeah, I think I remember. There's so many wow moments. But remember, it's just like things just. I was like, so it's like, don't give the thought. So it's like fire. So you don't give fuel to the fire, because it's just going to make it worse. So when the thoughts come in, you just let them go instead of giving them power. Does that make sense? And if you just let the thoughts go, because they just come and then they just pass away, they're not. But if you fuel them, they're not going to go away. They're going to make the fire go even more. And yeah, so does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sorry, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I've been on a mic course, so yeah.
Yeah. So that was one of them. But there's there's hundreds of different things.
Yeah.
It was like, wow. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? And hopefully it's not too personal. Obviously, during that bad time, you obviously got kids. You've got a husband who I'm sure is probably in turmoil as well, because he's seen his. So because obviously the effect is, obviously you crunched up on a couch is bad enough, but then there's that ripple effect to that night. It's the guilt side, but how was that? Because that's obviously challenging for Gareth, isn't it? For Gareth as well, and I guess maybe the kids are less aware of it, but they obviously know mummy's not well.
Yeah. I mean, we just try to hide it from the kids as much as possible. I don't know how much they picked up. They never mentioned it. I've never mentioned it to them, really. But if they do, it's fine. Yeah. But Gareth, it must have been hard for him, because he was helpless. He didn't, and he could see I was an absolute mess. And I remember, I would be awake at 2-3 in the morning. It would be like somebody had whacked me hard across the head with a shovel. That's how I felt to wake up. I would wake up like that. Oh, it was horrendous. And yeah, for him to be helpless, and he just was there being very, very kind and helping me as much as I can. But I just knew I never want to ever that to happen to me again. And the lady that I went to see, she said it was going to happen to me if I didn't change the way I think.
Right.
So I had to do everything to change the way I think and just not give a shit anymore about certain things. And I had to change. I had to stop running around like an absolute lunatic, trying to please everyone. And I just had to be calm and not be running around like a loony anymore, trying to please everyone else and just take care of me and my family. So that's what I did.
So I understand a lot of that, and from the conversation we have, often then unpicking why I guess your brain's wired that way, and trying to unpick that to then, I guess, rationalise it and let the thought pass, I guess, as you described it there. So for you, what were the kind of, if you look back, those key things that fed into that, if you want to call anxiety or struggles to go out or whatever that might be, if you don't mind me sharing. So what were when you look back, those things you had to unpick looking back? Because are they because I think, and we had again this conversation off air around psychology and perhaps people have had trauma events, and that obviously has that imprint in the mind for your life, and you get a bit of therapy to try and unpick it. And so do you look back as part of this belief code of finding those areas where these thoughts emanated from, I guess, and then it's unpicking them? Talk to me about.
Yeah, so in belief coding, so we go back to see where they've come from. So everything has come from, any discomfort that you've got, any triggers or whatever, has come from a past experience in belief code. And we go back and we find out where it's come from. And what we do is we reframe it. So we give our reflection, we call it, like Carly, age 10. If we come back to a memory age 10, we give her everything she needed in that moment, and reframe it. And then we put in the new beliefs. So everything comes from your belief system as well, I believe. So it's all about beliefs you have about yourself, and that's where all these triggers come from. and all these things that come from past experience. So we go back, whereas talk therapy, they take you forward, things like that. They go forward, we go back, like EFT goes back. And
What does EFT stand for?
EFT, emotional.
No, sorry. I've not come across the term before.
A technique, emotional freedom technique.
Okay.
It is.
Right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And do you mind, sorry, Matt, I mean, are you happy to share, say, one example of where you went back and unpicked something? So let's say you're a warrior, it might not be the one you want to talk about, but where you went back and talked about that, and just sort of headlines of how it was unpicked, how you changed that belief.
Yeah.
So I guess you're with a coach at this stage. Or if they're not called coaches, but...
Yeah, so I've done like confidence, like speaking. I never used to be able to like speak up, or like I would never have been able to do this. Absolutely no chance.
I think I remember asking someone for you to come on this a few years ago, and they're like, "I'll never do that."
Oh no, I wouldn't.
And here we are.
I know, and I'm chill. I'm like so chill about it. But I never would be able to, like, so if I had a meeting at work, I would be quiet. I would never speak up. If I had, so when I started the Blue Code and we all had to go on a Zoom, and I couldn't take my microphone off, and you had to go around, and I would like, oh my God, the anxiety would be like through the roof. I can't speak. I'd be bright red, and then I'd just say something stupid, or, I didn't have the confidence to speak up. So I went back to a memory. It was gymnastics actually in St Mary's School, and we had to perform, and all the parents were coming in. So I went back to that memory performing, and I remember I must have had that anxiety about performing or speaking up, that kind of feeling. That feeling was there of that anxiety speaking up or doing my demonstration, and all the classes. I went back to that memory. But I've gone back to quite a few memories around confidence, because sometimes it takes a few. There's a few elements to it. It's not perfect. Some sessions it's gone in one session, but sometimes there's a few elements to it. So that's one. I've gone back to a memory, age 14 in a maths class, and putting my hand up, saying the wrong thing, and then some guy just laughing his head off at me, and then telling me I was stupid, and then always like coming up to me going, what did you get? I'm laughing at my score. And so I've gone back to that memory as well. So I think all these memories I've probably gone back to. It's probably been quite a few. They've cleared my, like, the confidence I have now. I honestly believe like I can do anything, and that's incredible.
So when you're picking that, will whoever you're working with, let's use the maths one as an example, like you then unpicking and analysing like not why they laughed, but just changing your framing of like talk me through what happens in that.
So you can never change what happened, but what you do is you empower Carly, age 14, to give them everything they needed in that moment. And you can give them like anything. They can have anything in that moment.
What, like a baseball bat to hit?
Right. Well, no, actually,
the kid with.
What I did do, I got a shrinking gun, and I shrank him down to the bottom. So
okay. All right.
So like you could use magic like that, or you could just literally have, she needs a hug from her mum. You don't have to go to woo woo if you don't want to, but you can give them anything they need in that moment. To empower Carly, age 14, to give her the strength to speak out. Sometimes they need to just say what they need to say, or you can give them like, God, what else? You can have like power boots to make them strong, or like a confidence cardigan, or whatever she needs in that moment, to empower her. And it's incredible because, like from an outsider that's not into this healing and they're listening to this, they probably think that's a bit woo-woo. And you know what? It's simple stuff that bloody works. So although you're like, I know people are like, will judge it, and that's absolutely fine. But it doesn't have to be, like, you don't have to think, it's probably a belief of theirs that, that's woo-woo, I couldn't do that. But if you've got something that's going to change someone's life, and you're just going to change it in 20 minutes, and maybe you go a little bit out there and you give them, power boots or whatever, then if it's going to work, how incredible is that? Like for 20 minutes to just change someone's belief so their actions are different, to make someone a confident person like me. It's incredible. And I think, there's a lot of stigma around that sort of thing. But really, it's simple.
Yeah, I think there's probably less closed-mindedness. I'm not sure stigmas maybe maybe 15, 20 years ago, but now I think there's more talk about mindfulness, things like that. I think there's more understanding of that. And I guess that's part of the general, isn't it? Mental health, mental well-being conversations that are more common nowadays. As much as we appreciate you sharing personal stories, I think it's important because I think everyone's got those challenges in different formats, layers, and amounts. And the ability to talk about them is half the challenge, I suspect.
Yeah.
So what you talked about that mindfulness with Mike, was that? Oh, Michael, is it the old man? If you don't mind me calling, sorry, Mike. I'm assuming it's Michael. He's the old man. Was there then a journey of other things that got you onto that belief code? Or I think you mentioned earlier you've seen a friend on it. Was that shortly after that, or was that you were still working on yourself post the event at Keighley?
Yeah. So, do you know what? The mindfulness was the big thing for me, actually. I think it's brilliant, and I still do it today. I still carry on doing that. I'd probably say I meditate, not for very long, but most days. Just usually when I come in from work, actually, I just need to quiet the mind. And I just say, Gareth, I'm going to bed. And he's like, yeah, fine. And I just say, just give me 10 minutes. And the kids know, and Gareth knows, and they just kind of accept it. And I just literally go from a busy mind to just give me 10 minutes. And I just lie down. I don't go to sleep, but I do the mindfulness breath work. And then I'm fine then. I'm like raring to go.
Right.
Yeah, so I did that. The biggest thing, really, to be honest with you, I did the EFT. I tried that. That was good, but I didn't carry on with that. I just wasn't drawn to it really. But the big one was Mike Keighley, and I go to his drop-ins now and again. And listen to all his. He's got him and his dad have got free meditations on their website, which is good. Yeah.
So how did you find the belief code? And
how did I find it? Oh, so my friend, So my friend Tracy Brody, she trained me, and she was doing it, and she was actually a trainer in it, and she said, come on my course, you will love it, because she knows I'm into all that. And I was like, oh, well, I'll just do it for myself. I'll just do it to heal me, and that was the intention. And then, because I was doing so many sessions on people, and they were having such great transformations, I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. I could do this as a little business, but how amazing to be able to help someone and have a business out of it, that you're just helping people. It's absolutely incredible. So, that's why I've just started the last 3 months doing it as a little business on the side of my full-time job. So
what's the journey into I presume you call it qualification, that process?
Yeah, so I've done a facilitation course, which means I can do one-on-one facilitations, which is amazing. And now I've just started doing the advanced course, which I'm training in. And the advanced course will be amazing. So it'll be going for big goals. The advanced, and you can clear it all in 3 sessions. It's like one round is 3 sessions with the advanced. So it's like an outcome. You go to for an outcome, and also it changes people's identity. So what I mean by that is, like, so say if you want to, trying to think of so you're this person, and you want to be this person, basically. And you've got it within you 100% to be this person, but you have all these things blocking you getting to that goal. So for instance, for an example, say I want to have a successful belief code in business. So I will write down like all the actions that I need to do to get that, because I haven't got that yet. And so all those actions, there's a benefit to you not doing them because you haven't done them yet. So for an example, an action to put myself on social media was one of them. There's a benefit for me to not do that action because I'll be judged. Yeah. So it's my subconscious wants to keep me safe. Yep. So I'm not putting myself on social media because I might be judged. So your subconscious holds you back from taking that action. So there's a benefit there. So what we do is we clear that benefit. we clear that fear of judgment, and then you can put yourself on social media.
Okay.
So there'll be lots of different actions, but we can change people's identity to be that person by clearing everything that's stopping them from being that person.
Okay.
So that's the advanced, which is amazing. And we go, for big goals, and it's just that next step up from the standard facilitation course. And then I'm also training in the masters, which means I can do group sessions, like you can do retreats, you can have a group of people, which I'm really excited about. And also you can do programs, so you can like pick whatever you're passionate about. For instance, I'd like to do some programs around sport to clear, because that's what I've cleared. So I could do a course on, say, Couch to 5K, clearing their mindset to get them to that, to do that run. Or I could do people for just fear of racing and get them to that start line. So there's loads of little ideas I'd like to do with sport, but there's other things I've got ideas for as well.
Sure.
So once I do the masters, so I think in the next 12 months, I'm going to be doing a lot more.
And how long have you been involved in belief coding?
2 years, but I qualified a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just hearing that passion already from it, it's refreshing. It's nice.
Yeah, I've got so much fire in it. Honestly, I feel like on fire. I absolutely love it. I come home from work and I sit down. My husband watches TV, and I do belief coding. Just got the headphones on, learning more and more about it. Yeah, I love it. I do it every single day, either on myself or training in it or a client.
And looking into that stuff, is that what got you back into the sporting world then? Being able to clear those past anxieties? Because we know, and we touched on earlier, you now went to the Island Games again this year. Yeah. So how did that kind of story unfold from previously not wanting to don any form of racing shoes?
I did push myself to do the races, but I mean, the Ironman last year, I was absolute wreck for months up to it. Really, really struggling with nerves all the way up to it. I mean, it wasn't just like the day before, it was like months of worry. And then, so I'm training for an Ironman next year. So I'm so excited about that now. And I just feel like, and it's not like I'm completely healed. There's other things will come up, but I'll do a session on it. So if anything triggers come up about my Ironman, I just go now and do a session on it and clear it. Because I can self-facilitate, I can do it on myself. It's a continuous journey. You're always going to have things to heal, always. And every time, your backpack has rocks in at the start, and you're just lifting one out and you become lighter. And then at the end, you just kind of got a lot of pebbles to clear instead of big, heavy rocks. So that's how we kind of describe it. There's always going to be pebbles there to clear, and it's just an onward journey. Yeah.
And so you talk about Ironman there, and the lead into it, you just, I guess, fairly self-aware when certain things are overtaking you. I'll use the word anxiety, but it might be other things. Is that just something you think everyone has that awareness, or do you think because of the work you're doing, you're very much more, let's say, in tune with, something doesn't feel quite right here, what is it? And therefore that's when you go and unpick.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I don't know what anyone else feels before racing. I only know what I feel, and I always knew that it wasn't right. Like, surely, I know everyone gets nervous, I know that, and I know everyone has race nerves, but mine was definitely so much more than it needed to be. And I know that now. And we never know what anyone else is feeling. But I just remember at the start line, a lot, the people that I'm racing with and like friends, they're not having the same feelings as me. Like, they're excited. Are you excited about your race? And I'm like, how would I be excited about a race? Like, literally no. And they were saying things to me like, oh, I can't wait for next week. And I'm like, what can't they wait for? We're doing the triathlon. How can that be exciting? So I knew it wasn't right. I knew something wasn't right. Like all that worry was unnecessary. So
we come full circle, as Matt touched on there. Going to the Island Games. So, I mean, in that sports sector, do you set yourself particularly goals to go and do things, or is it just you doing for this Ironman, for example, you just set yourself personal things, and if the opportunity comes along to represent the island or whatever, you do it, or was the Island Games a specific focus?
So they did ask me last year to go, and the belief I had was 100% that I'm not good enough to do the Island Games triathlon. And I always knew I was never going to get goals for bronze. I knew that. But I was still like, there's so much other people that could be going. Why are you asking me? And I believed that I wasn't, I shouldn't have been going. And that's why I said no last year. And then when like a friend went, Ali, and then I thought when she was there, I was like, oh, maybe I could have gone, because me and Ali are pretty similar. I was like, oh, she's going. Why did I say no? So when I got asked again, I was like, yeah, go on, I'll do it. But I was still like, are you sure? Is there not any other young ones that want to do it? And they were like, no, you're definitely up there. And I didn't do too bad. I didn't come
absolutely.
last. Came middle of the road, so that was fine. But yeah, so I mean, that was the most amazing opportunity. And now looking at 46, looking back, how many Island Games I could have done even with running a triathlon, and I haven't done them. So I want to tell all those kids, I want to mentor them and tell them to just do it and try and change their mindset. That's the plan.
Yeah, like you say, it's not necessarily even kids in sport, is it? It's just, or not even kids, is it? Yeah. It's anyone. I saw a great quote a couple of days ago. I'd love to exactly read it back, but it said, how many things would you do? And it said something along the lines of, how many things would you actually do if failure wasn't an option? So like, how many things... It's like anxiety. It's the same as anxiety. How many things would you have done if anxiety hadn't if there was no end result? It's that same. It's easy said than done. Obviously, you've done an amazing amount of work on yourself to unpick that. But I guess we do all have different varying degrees of it, don't we? And we don't do things because of the certain fears.
Yeah.
And failure is one. In that example of that quote for yourself, it was other ones.
And we all know it's ridiculous as well, don't we? We all know it's ridiculous, but just your subconscious wants to keep you safe. Your subconscious doesn't want you to go in. So it runs away from pain. Your subconscious runs away from pain and runs towards pleasure. So it just wants to keep you safe. It doesn't want you to go back to that feeling that you had when you did the Island Games when you were 22. It wants to keep you safe. So it stops you. So your actions just stop you from doing them. And it's ridiculous. And we all know it's ridiculous, but we can't help it. So that's why Belief Code is brilliant for that, just clearing all that.
Yeah, it's good. Quite interesting. Obviously, chatting about it because some of the resilience stuff I do it because I feel if I do something really uncomfortable that I don't want to do, that as we talk about, like your resilience tide lines kind of lifted, and therefore what felt daunting isn't anymore because you've done something more difficult. And it's the same process, isn't it? Yeah. I'm just not necessarily unpicking it and figuring out why perhaps I'm uncomfortable about standing in front of people and talking. I'll just go and do it. Well, I won't just go and do it, but I'll go and try and get the skills to be able to do it, to overcome the fear. Yeah. You're doing the same thing, but you're just doing it a different way, I guess. Well, that's partly a different way, which is going to understand why am I scared to go and stand in front of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, that innate ability then to do things you don't think you can do is in everyone, isn't it?
Yeah. And it does. It just makes you grow and grow. If you do more challenging things, just makes you do more, doesn't it?
So if I go back to just to finish off the conversation, as I said before we got into the belief code, and is like as someone 20 miles away from you, the change is amazing. So I'd say anyone listening, things they want to just have a conversation. I guess the key is to reach out to you on socials.
100%. I just love talking about it. I know I've had conversations with both of you. I just love, and when you're talking to you, I just love it. I'll talk to anybody because like I don't talk to it about anybody unless they ask me. Because I said on one of my socials the other week that if I talked about belief coding to all my friends, they wouldn't want to be my friend anymore. And my family are sick of hearing it. They're like, oh, no, yeah, belief coding. So I'll only talk to people, like, I mean, no one at work, unless they follow me, they don't know I'm doing it, you know. So I only talk to people if they ask me about it. And when they do, God love them, they're there for hours. Because I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing.
I suppose the key is, and Matty touched on it, is that enthusiasm, but you have that enthusiasm because as an observer, it's changed your life. So therefore, it's given you such a positive aspect to your life. You just like a preacher, you want to go and preach it, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You just want to shout it from, you know, the rooftops and like tell everyone about it. But not everyone wants to listen, and that's absolutely fine. And it's not personal. No, you know, it's just what you're drawn to. I'm drawn to it because the journey I've come on, and that's why I'm drawn to it. And the people that they're absolutely fine as they are, and they're quite happy, you know, and they don't want to change, and that's absolutely fine as well. So you just got to be very careful, pick your audience, I think, who you're talking to, and yeah.
Like you say, people are reaching out to you. They know, you know, they want to.
Exactly. Yeah. If people are asking me, they want to know about it, which yeah. And if they want to follow me, they can, and if they don't, that's absolutely fine. You know, nothing's personal.
And how do they follow you?
Just on my Instagram page and on my Facebook page at the minute. Yeah, haven't quite got to TikTok yet. That's next. But I do honestly feel that this is just the beginning for me. Like, I've still got, you know, those rocks in my backpack that I need to unpick. So, and then I'm doing the advanced, I'm doing the masters. So I think this time next year, I'm going to change that identity, you know, like with the advanced. I'm this person now, but I want to be that person there. And I want to help as many people as I can because I absolutely love helping people. The buzz you get when you come off and you've had a session with someone and they've messaged you the next day to say, I can't believe it. There was a lady I was working with on an interview, and she was so nervous about going for an interview, and she was like, I've just absolutely smashed that interview. She said she didn't want to go for it, you know, she was in a right mess and so nervous and didn't believe in herself, and she said, I've completely sold myself at this interview, you know. And then other people have messaged to say, oh, we've had your session and I can't believe it, I've stopped biting my nails. And we didn't even work on that, you know. So there's things that I've worked on, I've cleared without even working on them.
Yeah, okay.
So like if I've worked on some fears, the other fears have fallen away.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And same with anxiety. If you deal with some things that make you anxious, because in belief coding we just kind of like pinpoint what makes you anxious. So if we did like, you know, going to work makes me anxious, and we worked on that, other things that make them anxious fall away.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for example, you might drive to work and you're picking your nails because you're nervous, but that drops away because you're no longer nervous to go to work.
Yeah, there's all sorts like that, which it's been amazing. So I just want to keep helping people, to be honest with you. I just love it.
It's not a bad way to live, I don't think. It's not a bad way, is it?
You get such a buzz from it, and I would just, if I could help anyone, I would absolutely love it.
Great. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Really insightful conversation. Congratulations on the games as well.
Thank you.
It's always impressive. I think Matt and I chat, but like I think we were looking at the stats. It was like very small percentage of people ultimately get to represent a small island. But
if anyone gets the opportunity, 100% do it, because
great team thing, isn't it?
Oh my goodness, I loved it. I loved from the start to finish, like doing the did you go down the parade and everything and do the opening ceremony and all that. It's just, I was so proud, and I'm like Manx the Hill, so I was like so proud to be in that Isle of Man tri-suit. I just loved it. Good.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It's a word out from On
and word out from Matt.
Poor flimsy humans. Don't you wish you were flawless like me? A towering inferno of physical perfection?
I hate to pop your blimp-like ego, but you're not perfect.